Yeah.
Zoom in,
Right.
you can get on.
There's two.
Yeah, Jerry should be
Two.
getting one.
Yes, here's plate sisters.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, I've never talked to them, but I
Next
wave
week,
at them. all the
next time
time.
will be
The big one.
the coaching. Oh, next time will be.
Yeah.
Unless somebody cancels. There, I feel so exposed. Oh, no. I know, I
You're
have
on a
to-
stage, the whole stage, that's just.
Yeah.
messes with your mind.
and then I have to click to whoever's phone. Yeah, that's weird.
Can we just change the time of our meeting? Okay, I guess I'm gonna call the meeting to order. And Yvonne did start the recording, so we are recording. I think Jerry's gonna chime in a few minutes. Corin's taking minutes tonight. Thank you, Corin.
Yep.
You wanna take roll?
Sure,
He lives for,
I love it, yeah. Bill
here.
is here. Are we expecting Pam? No, I'm sorry, I got the
Emily,
older, I got the older form here. This is from last year.
yeah, I don't
Are we
know.
expecting Emily?
Here, do you wanna read the minutes?
Thanks, I have outdated minutes.
Depending on the Emily, it's several years.
Yeah.
Right?
Emily Shepherd.
Oh, okay.
She didn't say whether or not. Yeah, I thought she would come.
Okay. Linda is here. Laura. Joe is here. And we're expecting Jerry in a bit.
Yeah, he said he would jump on and do it all.
Okay. And Ginger is here. Carrie is here.
Here,
Corin is here. And Yvonne is here.
alright. Okay, what? Did everybody review the September minutes? I didn't make 29.
That's okay. We have enough people.
We'll talk about it. I'll give an update.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Would someone want to make a motion to approve the minutes, or do we need any changes?
I'll make a motion to approve them as written.
Seconded.
All right, very good. Zipping along. We have no visitors that I can see. Or online. No, that's just us, I think. Yeah, okay, so we will move on to old business. The secretary's schedule. Corin is doing his last duty tonight, and then you'll type stuff up. I got Jerry next. I think he might need to be in person to do minutes. I don't know. I'll ask him.
I can switch it then.
Well, why don't we do that, and then I'll check it with Jerry about how he wants to handle that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jen.
he
All right.
might miss a lot.
Yeah, I feel like it. And sometimes he can't get here right at the beginning. Okay. Thanks, Ginger.
Very dramatic.
He's out of town, so kind of like.
Oh, you know who wasn't on that list was Annie,
Oh, yeah.
and she's technically still on the commission, or she's serving temporarily on the commission until her role is filled. We
I wasn't
talked
clear.
again to Katie today, and she's gonna advertise for the position.
I was gonna say, I just been looking at
I believe you.
what positions are open, and I haven't been listed.
No, yeah, so, and somebody else besides me needs to renew. I think it might be Jerry.
Jerry's here.
I feel like I.
There's Jerry. Okay. And Emily is back.
Here,
Hi,
sorry.
Emily.
I'm
Okay.
gonna blame it on traffic. It was out there.
All right, hi Jerry. Your speaker's off. Your audio is off, I should say.
Hi, sorry.
Hey, that's okay.
Sorry,
Glad
just got
you
out, just got walked out of the symposium.
Okay, good, you're here. Well, we're on to old business of the agenda and I just thought I would give an update about the Green Irish City tree planting initiative. Thanks to everybody for helping. You know, it's been a long process, but we got to plant last weekend, so that was great. And many of you were out there planting and I really appreciate it. We planted 13 trees. And I did some calculations today on iTree about the value of those and I forgot to print it and bring it. So I'll send you guys that in an email.
How long did it take you to do them?
We were done by noon.
Yeah.
By noon for sure. Some people were done earlier than others. They're faster planters, but so it was about 2.5 hours. And we had in all, between the volunteers and the homeowners and some kids helping, about 25 people involved, so. And Linda took them very nice pictures, which I'm gonna put in just a little report or something that we can then share with anyone.
Yeah.
So everybody seemed really happy. Everybody put in their calendar when they were gonna water. We gave them their buckets. I don't know, did you have any fun experiences when you were with your group?
No, the first landowner was really enthusiastic, really into it, you know, so
She
was
set the
planting
bar
and-
pretty high.
Yeah, everybody else was like, okay, I'm glad this is happening. But the first person was like, yes, this is happening. I'm ready.
What about you? Your first landowner was very talkative.
Yeah, she didn't like where the city wanted the tree planted,
Oh,
and so we had to like split the difference. Cause she was afraid that they plant too close to her neighbor's driveway, it'd be over the neighbor's driveway in a couple years, and she wanted to squeeze it over a little bit more. So we made it happen, because it was within the right of way and between the utility lines that are marked, so.
good.
Split the difference, made her happy, so.
Did most of your people help plant?
2 of the 4. Yeah, we had 4 trees, yeah. So 2 of the 4.
What about you, Yvonne?
Yeah, we had a good experience. It was pretty easy digging, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I mean, the shovels just went in.
Yeah.
Just like butter.
Yeah.
Like that.
Didn't jinx ourselves for this time.
All
No,
rocks.
it was a really, really.
How big
That
were the
was-
trees?
What?
How big were the trees?
They were all at around 15 gallons, so about 1.5 inches in caliber. Approximately.
Had a few people call wanting trees now.
Good.
Good, excellent.
We had some interest on the street by just people walking by.
Oh, fun.
like, oh, what's going on? Oh, that looks really nice. Yeah. So,
So
Yeah.
people call wanting trees, like what's the process?
If you send them to the website.
Yes, so, I forwarded the messages to Public Works, so this is kind of what
So-
Yeah,
I'm putting them on a list somewhere.
we'll do like, yeah, I'm putting together a little blurb about it with some pictures. That I'll get to maybe to Jen.
Is there a link then on the website that they can go?
There is a link to go register to get a tree,
Okay,
or register to have a right-of-way tree planted in your right-of-way.
okay.
I wonder if
It's
Jenny
still
could put it
active.
in the Friday page or something like that. Like the Friday, she does that Friday newsletter.
Yeah, I
She
think
could-
that would-
Yeah, I would like to have follow a meeting at some time about like, and maybe that's Joe and I and Yvonne or somebody, just like a subcommittee meeting, to just talk about like the pros and the cons and how it went, and if we want to. And I think Andre would actually like to be part of that conversation. He had some comments about the tree varieties changes.
Sure.
So I thought he had some good information to share, and I think that would be a good thing. Would you guys be up for a chat about? And then we could decide, like, are we gonna do what we did this time, which is pinpoint emailing of people, or just kind of open it up?
I think several. of
Because
them
that's a little more complicated.
Yeah.
If it's, you're planting all of this.
several people said, why don't you guys put signs out? We put signs and everybody can see it.
Yeah, Yeah, we are, that is
I know.
something we want to do.
Signs cost money. That's-
So I think that I think. Well, I can double check with Todd, but I think,
Tree funded thing.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the tree fund was gonna pay for it. We just need to design
In our
it.
city program. Dogs are good for something, just getting people out.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well then I'll follow up with Joe and Yvonne, and anybody else who wants to be part of that conversation about, just a separate conversation about how it went, pros and cons. Okay, next time. Okay. And we're gonna talk a little bit about it at the MICFIC conference, right?
Big meeting,
When is that again?
second Thursday, in November.
So,
Yeah, with reserves.
at the.
Washington.
Larson Park.
Yeah.
It's gonna be chilly. We could have a little fire.
Well,
in
it's
the
Arbor
fire
Fest.
pits.
So,
If you know anybody who could bring some fire.
We have firewood out here at the county.
they have it too. Oh, that's. The MICFIC is the Missouri Community
Forestry Council.
Forestry Council,
Yeah,
and Joe is on that board.
yeah, I'm the local rep for the state. We're St. Louis Eastern Missouri St. Louis chapter rep that goes to Jefferson City every other month and brings information from our chapter to the state. And then we basically, MICFIC is an advisory board to the Conservation Department and the Forestry Department. So we work together with Forest Relief and getting trees to everybody. So it's just a big
Community
conglomerate of,
Forestry
yeah,
Council.
community foresters. So
So it's exciting that we're gonna get to talk about all the cool stuff that's
Yeah.
happening in
November 10th.
that it is.
Webster.
Yeah, because Mark Halpin was asking about that. Last 2 weeks ago, went to the meeting and he's like, we're still on Webster.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Verify it.
What's MICFIC stand for the minutes?
Missouri Community Forestry Council.
Missouri Community Forestry Council. Okay, got it.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about the Green Our City stuff? You asked, I answered your question, right?
What?
Karen,
Oh, you asked about advertising, yeah, yes,
Well, yeah, just that something was done.
yeah, we definitely do that.
I wasn't clear. Are there signs placed on these trees that,
We don't have signs yet.
but there
but
will
we
be?
do- Yeah, we do have funding for that, yes. And if
Great.
need a volunteer to design a sign. Okay, I'm not looking at you. I'm thinking I would love to do it. That's like fun to do. It's just gonna take a little while to do it. Probably Jenny can do something too, couldn't she?
Yes.
What kind of
Yes.
signs you're talking about?
Maybe I'll ask Jenny to help.
What kind of signs are they?
Well, we don't know yet.
Oh,
I thought a hang tag would be kind of cool, big hang tag, but some people thought a sign in the ground right at the tree level would be okay too.
Yeah, the ones that kind of get blown and battered, they stay down. We've got like that little one in Larson Park that says like,
Mhm.
We're not mowing like something small, it's just.
Yeah, the one that
Mhm.
that you made that laminated.
I don't know how long it's been out there, but it's going strong. So it's-
It's a couple months.
Was it McPick that made the big, they're like big, huge tags out of,
This tree
yeah.
has I think Conservation Department funded that with Forest Relief maybe.
they had two different kinds. They had one that looked like a big, like wooden
Price
tag.
Yeah,
And those were really cool. And they did dangle from the tree, but they kind of, it was like art in the
as
tree
long as
almost.
it doesn't get sun
Right.
reached out, that's the.
And then they also had tags like right at the beginning of COVID that they put, they were like on a weatherproof board that you could hang on the tree or put on a stake in front of the tree that said something about this tree is a what they call 'em? Essential worker and what they bring to the
Yeah.
table, so.
Yeah.
Trees.
So I think that it would be one of those two things.
So I can do laser cutting. We had some wood sign design.
It's something to think about. All right, well, I'll reach out to Jenny and see if she can help with the design.
Well, that might be an idea for trees of distinction, like award.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody comes up with a design.
Wood burning.
Yeah, I mean, it's engraved into the wood. It's always
That
engraved.
really shows the craftsmanship that wood gives us too. In terms of artistic media.
Art catches on fire.
All right, well, thank,
Been there, done that.
I had a lot of fun planting with my partner. We actually had a little kid, couple little kids planting with us, and that was pretty
Okay,
cute.
that one. Great together.
I did get a picture of it, so. So that was great. He was helping dig worms and excited about, taking care of the tree. All right, the next item for business or old business is the Pollinator program update. And I know you guys had an event Saturday. You want to tell us how that went?
Yeah, it turned out really great. I know there was at least 19 people signed up and then a bunch more trickled in. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Fine.
Okay. There's a railroad train going by. Yeah, so it was a really good turnout, and then some people left early and then a bunch more came. So don't know the exact turnout, but it was divided into 4 sections. The Women's Garden Club, Webster Groves, did a really good job of laying it out. Karen and Jan and Martha and Amy Hansen is the master gardener. She put it on the master gardener site. So I know we had at least 4 master gardeners there. I don't know if you got to go by and see it, but it looks really, really different, really good, and all prepped and ready for the October 22nd Make a Difference Day. I know the Women's Garden Club was really ecstatic about the turnout and how much that we got done. At the end, I was the only guy there, and there's still most of the compost pile, so I got to move 3 cubic yards of compost. But it was a lot of fun. Got Mayor Arnold showed up, got some good pictures of Laura with the Women's Garden Club, and then pulled Linda in, so we got one with the Green Space Advisory people there. So I got a bunch of pictures of the groups and around. So Yvonne and Carrie, if you want those, I can email them to you.
Yeah.
So they were just real happy with the whole project. So October 22nd will be the planting phase of it. And they have $800 allocated for natives. They've given the list to Yvonne and others. And I talked to Carrie about it. They would like a little bit of partnership from us. So Carrie and I discussed it a little and would like to propose that we take $200 of our $1,000 a year budget to help them out with buying the natives for planting for Make a Difference Day. For the other projects, the Ivory Crockett Park, City Hall, and others, there's grants that will help with those projects. So I thought it would be good if we could contribute a little towards the purchasing of plants. Don't know, Carrie, should I make a official
Yeah, we
proposal?
probably need to do that.
Okay, I make a motion that we donate $200 to the Ruhi project for the planting day for October 22nd for Make a Difference Day.
And I guess we have to vote on it. Is that how that works?
Do we have other expenditures for the year?
Well, we probably will, but our budget's a little bigger this
Yeah.
go around than it's been. And we're probably 3 months in to the new year, yeah. We don't have anything, I think, planned. I mean, all the tree conservation or all the Green Our City initiative stuff is coming out of the tree fund. So we haven't had to pay for that.
We're gonna have any honorariums for speakers?
We haven't really discussed that yet, but I
We
think,
haven't needed it so far. The
Well, that's what I
speakers have been
thought, that
Yeah.
most
Very
of them are
willing.
volunteering to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we still would have at least like $800, right?
Okay, that's fine.
Did your proposed float trip intend to tap into that? fund?
No.
So that was,
That was all out of pocket
okay,
for us.
By the way, I spoke with Karen Holla, who's the women's gardening overseer
Mhm.
of those groups. And she was interested in getting her people to come to our talks. So that I'm just coming to see what we can do to just run it, because we're having trouble getting people to our talks after the hiatus of the pandemic.
Yeah.
She said, send them to me and I'll broadcast it to all my
Okay,
neighbors."
that'd be great.
We have to get a bigger room.
Okay,
And other events, when we need volunteers.
okay.
Broadcast.
Well, I think we should get back to the vote.
Yeah.
So is all in favor? Say aye.
Hi,
Oh, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You guys abstain, right?
Yeah.
unanimous
So
vote.
close.
Unanimous.
So we're good, Jerry.
great. I know the Women's Garden Club will be very appreciative. They're also very excited. We keep talking about other things we'd like to do, a lot of the open spaces, and they're really looking forward to partnering with us on some of our ideas and projects. So it's a really good volunteer crew. I know we had at least 8 from the Women's Garden Club, maybe 10, and 4 or 5 master gardeners. The rest were from us pushing out, but that's what we're trying to do, is build a permanent volunteer corps that we can call on at kind of a moment's notice and for maintenance into 2023 and some new projects.
That's really great. I'm glad to hear that a lot of people showed up because I mean, that's what's gonna drive, right? Any more projects is being able to take care of the ones we have.
Apparently, I
Right.
think that anybody who got the greenkeeper is going to shut out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, is there something that'll go away from Deer Creek into, our messaging will go, maybe that's confusing.
Yeah.
And Yvonne is, I don't know if you want to talk about the possibility of the changing with the website with the city, but I just really wanted to thank Yvonne. She's just wonderful always, but it really was helpful getting tools to me and coordinating with compost. We'll be doing mulch on Make a Difference Day, and it's just really great to have Yvonne's support on all of these.
Ditto. Sure. My pleasure. All right, well,
So Yvonne had mentioned that it's possible the city may take over. Yvonne, did you want to touch on that with the website?
Sure, we could do it now, or would you rather wait for
No.
the glasses? Okay, so I talked to Jenny Starkey, I don't know if you know about it, and Scott about moving our volunteer sign up at all on the city's website. And because what happens when I create a blast, I have to get it approved by the Deer Creek Watershed Alliance, and then I send it out. So sometimes it happens fast, sometimes it's a few days later. And so I think if everyone here goes on Kirkwood's volunteer site and just sort of take a look at it, that's what I think would be a good model to go off of. And the other thing, and Jenny said she could totally do it, and I think she had talked to Scott about it, so Scott already kind of knew about it. And then what I sort of envision is that we have a calendar and we can load events up on that calendar, and that, we get that link out to anybody who wants to sign up for the event. And then they can also click on a box that they're agreeing to the terms, which would be the waiver.
yeah.
And so it'd be sort of a permanent thing, instead of me having to bring paperwork and do that. So I think if they could be special events, ongoing events that, I could say, meet the park staff at this park on such and such day, and a volunteer can come and work a couple hours in one of the parks. So she wanted to do it right away, but I know I just wanted to make a difference day over with and then work towards doing that. So that's kind of my goal, to have it up and running as soon as she can get it up and running by the end of the year.
Would you cross post it still on Deer Creek or nothing?
Oh, yeah, yes, and I would need to break the news to Stacy.
I
too.
know,
So.
she mentioned it when we met the other night.
Yeah, and so the benefit that they get out of it is, they get to tally up all the things that we do and sort of use it as a, yeah, and so they can still partner with us. But I need to let Stacy know because I don't want to rip the rug out from under her, but at the same time, I think probably at this point, it might be almost as annoying as it is a good thing for them because we're doing a lot of stuff, so keeps losing employees, so she's the one who always has to do it, so. Anyway, I'll let her know sooner than later, just say that the city's gonna move towards hosting their own website. Now, we could have done it, and we did do an event through the rec center. We had an event last year and people signed up through the rec center, and the feedback that I got that it was really difficult to sign up. And because you have to give away a lot more information, people don't want to do that. They just want to click, I'll be there, I agree with the terms. So that's what I'll be shooting for. with
Okay.
this.
Did you talk at all about that potentially being used for like the speaker series things or
Everything.
when
And
the
then,
architecture, whatever?
yeah, and I'm hoping
Okay.
that, I don't think Jenny's gonna want everybody contacting her all the time and say, oh, can you post this and that?
But we could get the
But if
information.
we could
to
have a
you.
few people that
Oh.
can, whoever that is, a
Chairs.
couple people from Green Space that can sort of update or tweak
Is
announcements.
this something that sustainability can be used into?
The way I approached Jenny on it was that this could be a volunteer corps for everything,
I like
not just
that.
green.
That makes sense.
So I don't know if greenkeepers would be sort of a sub group of the whole overall volunteer corps. Like it could be Webster Groves Volunteer Corps, and then we could say sustainability keepers, greenkeepers, whatever the next one is. So it could,
It's great.
I think that's the right way to go. So let me break the news to Stacy.
Okay. All right, I know we're gonna talk a little bit more about pollinator projects with the upcoming events. Do you wanna should we just talk about Make a Difference Day now?
Sure.
Jerry, did you have anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I pass it off to Yvonne for the other project.
Okay,
Just, she mentioned we need to help get the word out to help get people to the other projects, Ivory Crockett City Hall and beyond.
Okay, I know Ginger signed up. Okay, so,
Flyer and library.
okay, yeah, I haven't had a ton of people sign up and we have an awful lot going on, so,
So the
I'm
poster.
planning on it. for the statement.
okay. So what I have lined up is there's two events that are happening at Lorraine Davis. It's gonna be a group of scouts, not your scouts, but there's gonna be a group of scouts there doing honeysuckle removal and invasive removal. And then it's also a site for the Deer Creek watershed cleanup.
I have a question about that. Since everything is roped off, like, the rocket ship park, how all of that is closed, until everything is cleaned up. Like, do we have to worry about being exposed to anything while we're,
I think if you're just wearing your gloves and if you see something suspicious, don't pick it up like any container, but as
what
far
do you
as
think you
just
for quality?
wear long sleeve shirts and boots and gloves. And I can even have some plastic gloves that people can put on the inside of their gloves.
I was just concerned, since that, like, that whole area is just shut down until stuff is mitigated. I
Yeah,
just wanted
and
to make sure we were,
yeah, we're
like what I
okay.
signed up for.
Yeah. We're okay to clean up, but that just don't pick up anything, just reporting.
Like, I don't need to look at a hat.
No, you should be okay.
Don't have a hazmat suit, I could get one.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend going in the water and hanging out in the water with bare skin, which we've never done anyway, so. So, so at Lorraine Davis, so there'll be the Honeysuckle Suite folks and then the Deer Creek Trash Bash cleanup folks. And so you'll be there, and also Rich and Janice Schweitzer will be there. So, and then there's David, who's the lead for the Scouts. So you guys are gonna probably have the biggest group out of everyone. So I'll be there to kind of help get things started, and then you'll kind of do what you did before and take a group down to Glen Park and just kind of work your way down that way, and then just keep pulling out whatever you find in the creeks. And then another event is down at Deer Creek, and Stacy Arnold's she's gonna run that show. And I think they're starting at 8. You can look up the sign up times on 8
What's that one gonna be?
at Deer Creek.
Oh, what is it?
Stream
Cleanup.
Clean up.
And then, so at Ivory Crockett, what we're hoping to do, and I'm gonna have one of my employees, Mike Carter, there. There's that triangle, the pollinator garden that we want to put in. Well, right now it's just all grass, so we're probably gonna beforehand, we'll go in and we'll tooth all that up. And then we're gonna have the volunteers sort of rake out all the clumps and sort of just kind of get it ready for the pollinator plants next year. And then also I'm hoping that we can put in some split rail fence to block that off, so it sort of defines it. So that's kind of the goal, and then hopefully we'll have enough volunteers to do that. And then Rui will be Jerry's deal. And seed collecting at Larson, I think I have Jeremiah lined up to do that, and I think Linda, did you sign up?
Someone did too, and then we'll say this.
Oh, Glenn did, okay. So, that's, I only asked for like 10 people, so. Oh, and then City Hall cleanup, so I think Mike Albers will be at the City Hall pollinator bed cleanup, and that basically just looks like tearing all the plants out, and that when you walk out of here, that long bed, all those plants will come out, and then we'll prep that, and if we have a lot of volunteers, we'll kind of spread out and just do some grooming, also to get ready for a bicycle raft that's going to come in, so we'll transplant some plants. There are other events going on, but those are the ones that are on Greenkeepers. So there's all kinds of other things happening.
So you need volunteers at this point.
Volunteers.
You need crew, like,
The only thing that I might, did you sign up? It seems like I saw that. You signed
I
up.
never signed up for, there's so many good projects to get involved.
Would you be willing to sign up for the seed collection?
Well, I can do them.
Okay,
Where- where-
because there's a slight chance Jeremiah can't do it, and I think you know enough about where everything is.
I will know it by then.
Okay, and you and I can always meet in my
Yeah.
office, and I can give you all the empty bags and all the containers that people put stuff
But
in.
some of them, I've had some people last time who saw this flyer in the library. We really want, where is the library, last year the library volunteered, Diane Ladd, Debbie Ladd, to actually prepare the seeds. We have, because I had some volunteers who wanted to do that,
Yeah.
follow up later.
Yeah, and she probably did email me, but it probably is with
Well,
thousand
they were
other.
often Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
and so I would say if she's just persistent in getting a hold of me, because I think last time we talked, I'm like, yeah, come over and then what ends up happening is I take all the seed and I crunch it all up, and then I go out and I broadcast it all along the creeks. And so it does, we used everything from last
Oh,
year, but
that's
if we
great.
want to do some specific stuff or packet some up so we can give it away at some of the talks, and that would
Yes.
be something that she would just say, this is what I'm gonna do, and.
'Cause I
however
think
it gets
Debbie
supported.
personally is really up on this. Debbie
Yeah, if
Ladd.
she could help too, that would be
You're not
fantastic.
stratifying, are you?
I think
No.
whatever it calls for.
Not
we'll
all of them
try
need
to do it.
stratification.
No, not at
Some
all.
of them do.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're gonna help too on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You just
Ginger,
volunteered.
you'll deal with Lorraine Davis. We have Stacy will be down at Deer Creek. I don't know if that's something you would want to jump in on too.
Possibly.
Okay,
Possibly.
Corin, a good one, if you're interested, would be Ivory Crockett.
I got the day free,
Okay,
so
yeah. And then Jerry will take care of Rui. And then, I think that's, and then if you get a hold of the library,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
And again, the women's group said, send us, we make up a flyer, send it to me, get it to all.
Okay,
women as well.
Yeah, we have a flyer for Make a Difference too. We can like socialize it on like Jenny Stark could send it out or.
That would be just for our green neighbors
Yeah.
projects.
So I know there's a lot going on. I feel
okay,
like
so,
the stream team would be interested in some of these things too.
okay, so Linda, and then Deer Creek will be
Deer
Joe,
Heads,
and
or
then
it's good
Warren
to
will
see.
be.
Well,
Agriculture.
Depends on the
Wait,
plan.
till last
That's what
week
you say was gonna be an Ivy Crocs.
Mike Carter, he's one of my supervisors.
They do
And
go
it
to
looked like
the
one other
ones,
person
the
signed
region.
up.
Well, it's the-
So I'm
they're the
hoping
ones that Jeremiah. So,
before we start hanging up.
he was supervising. it.
And then, Bill, are you gonna go to City Hall? Did we say
I
that?
can, yeah.
Okay, why don't you work with Mike Albers, you work. with-
Okay. Where is the bed?
It's right outside the back door. It's just that long, narrow bed that has the two containers in it.
If I ever been to that,
To the parking
Parking
lot.
lot, yeah.
that's what you're going back.
Do you want me to check in with Laura and see?
It would be good if she made a rounds, people
Okay.
like that.
Are you gonna put mulch or anything down on the bed?
Yes,
after it's
yeah,
cleaned?
yeah, we'll have it all ready. So all these beds will sort of be ready for spring plant. Great. So if you look up your time frames on green heaters. Emily, if you want to swing by and say hi to
Yeah.
people, it means a lot to me.
Okay.
I usually try to make it around with a bunch of chocolate, but. promise it. Yeah,
It's better than a t-shirt.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna come up with the giveaway. We talked about some stuff, but I haven't been.
Well, is the Lions Club still involved?
We don't know if the Lions are gonna do the barbecue or not.
Who furnished the shirts before to the city?
We did gloves last year. Remember those red,
No, I missed the last.
they had a special. name.
I liked those.
People were scared of this.
Mm.
But probably,
They were a bad
well, yeah, probably, I'm hoping they do gloves, because people like having gloves. No more t-shirts, they're too expensive.
Oh, yeah, and t-shirts.
Mine are all good.
Yes, t-shirt, I mean.
Yeah.
Gloves,
Like
gloves.
a gator, you know,
Oh, yeah.
would have been good. Cause you could make a difference on it.
Yeah.
I think Mickey's in charge of that, so I'm not sure if they decided on.
And you
Hey,
can't-
Yvonne,
Yes,
the gloves that you gave me, the red, that
yes,
had red on them. Is there a way
Yes.
to get them? Is there a way to get them with green?
yes. Yes, I don't know why they picked red. I think that might have been our only choice. I thought they tried it was supposed to be orange.
Maybe it was a
Yeah, and
discount.
it was scary red. Halloween,
Maybe it was.
you can't get the rose kind, can you? So I got a lot of
Yeah.
blackberries to cut out of my yard.
Gary, I don't know what Mickey's gonna give away. She's in charge of that committee. Her
Okay.
head is probably spinning with everything she's doing.
One other quick question for the check, for the donation. Who writes that? Carrie, Yvonne?
For Make a Difference Day?
No, for the
Oh,
$200.
Yeah, the
It would be
$200.
best if you turned in your receipts, probably, like $200 worth of receipts,
To
probably.
you?
To me, and then I can get a reimbursement to the garden club or whoever pays for it.
Great. All right.
Yeah, that would
Thanks.
probably be best. So pick plants that are close to the $200 mark.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question. Whoever talks to Laura, I don't know, I really like, there is a camporee that weekend and my husband's planning on going. I'm not sure how many scouts I'm gonna have.
Okay.
So maybe we can sweet talk Laura into being with me and Lorraine Davis.
Okay, I think there's gonna be 30 scouts just.
For
with
sure,
the
just with the
honeysuckle.
other group, with the honeysuckle, so if I need to pull some for the stream, I can. Yeah. But Laura would be nice.
Well, she might have, did
Oh,
you have
do you have
another
a
one that you need
separate
someone?
I
to
thought
do that?
she said she could not be there that weekend.
Oh, okay.
I think.
That wasn't just
Oh,
me.
your sister.
No, I think she said that
Scooby-Doo waits for no one.
he wasn't gonna be.
Okay.
available that
All right. I'll just double check.
Okay.
Okay, then, we'll move on to the next item of old business, which is the Stormwater Subcommittee update.
You want to do that or should I?
Why don't you start and I can chime in?
Okay. On September 29th, Carrie and I and Jamie from Sustainability and Carla met with David Wilson and Stacy Arnold, as well as Mayor Arnold and Pam Bliss and Emily. We all got together to listen to David Wilson and Stacy Arnold advise us on kind of two things. One, what kind of plans need to be put in place to advance the city's agenda to helping with stormwater? What kinds of funding sources are available to drive those plans forward? And what can we as citizen volunteers do to support efforts by the city? And finally, what can we as a subcommittee or as separate commissions recommend to city council as desirable next steps in this overall process? The short takeaway is we were going to make 2 or 3 recommendations. Those include changing one of the ordinances, recommending the city council to change one ordinance to remove the requirement for lawn in order to better advance the goal of reducing impermeable surfaces and increase water absorption by gardens and plantings. The next recommendation was we advise as a subcommission and potentially as commissions that the city develop a master plan for stormwater, which it does not currently have, although it does already have in place a related plan through MSD. And in so doing, in developing this particular plan, a stormwater management plan, a formal city adopted stormwater plan, we also will recommend that they collaborate with a number of city organizations, including Public Works and Parks, to make sure that all involved parties are adequately informed and involved in the process. Everything else is details about funding that goes beyond the purpose of our commission. Does that satisfy everybody?
And after that meeting, Jamie and I kind of sat, and based on those 3 sort of key recommendations, we talked about drafting an email or letter to the council that basically we're hoping both of our commissions will approve. Is that the right word? That just that we have a consensus that we are all saying, yeah, this is a good idea for the city to do these things. So Jamie and I worked on a draft of a letter, and I can read it to you guys or I can send it to you, but I kind of just like to read it so that we could just say yeah or no.
Okay.
And part of this, so Jamie, after talking to her, she's gonna take the same draft to her commission and see how they feel about it. Yeah, so Jerry, can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so the recommendation, whether it's an email or a written letter, it'll just say, it's from the 2 commissions, says back-to-back historic rain events in late August of this year flooded dozens of Webster Groves homes. The flooding ranged from a few inches of water in basements to a handful of homes completely destroyed and now being considered for FEMA buyouts. The changing climate will continue to increase the number and intensity of rain events, pushing city infrastructure, creeks, and sewer systems to their limits. Members of the Green Space Commission and Sustainability Commission met to dig deeper into the problem. In an effort to better understand how Webster Groves could improve its current stormwater management practices, the small group reached out to experts in regional stormwater planning. Out of this meeting, we learned that Webster Groves is one of several municipalities in the region focused on stormwater issues. However, more can be done. The stormwater master plan for the city would help all stakeholders understand the natural conditions, constraints, and opportunities to manage stormwater in a safe, compliant, and sustainable manner.
I pause you there for a second. Carrie was, in her last sentence, was alluding to the fact that these two experts were very complimentary to Webster in being proactive about pursuing this and saying that we are already taking the right steps. That parks and green space and sustainability are already pretty far along in making good decisions about this. And the fact that we're now trying to formalize it and go further is good. We're outliers in the region for doing this well and early. Sorry, Carrie. please
No,
proceed.
that's a great point. And that was the point we were trying to make, so.
Great.
Point. It would be this plan. It would be the first step in a long-range effort to protect life and property against the threat of local and regional flooding while protecting the environment. Therefore, the Sustainability Commission and the Green Space Commission are recommending the development of a stormwater master plan for the city of Webster Groves. We believe that the departments of Public Works, Parks, and Planning are integral to this process, and that members of our subcommissions should continue to contribute to the effort. And then it's closing. So we did take out the nugget about turf and the ordinance because we were thinking that would probably come out of this plan along with maybe other recommendations. And our thinking was that we would just focus this letter on the plan and how it's built so that that gives a message to city council that, you know, there's a lot of people really thinking about this and we need to push this forward.
Can I just say something about when you do talk about changing the ordinance to maybe look at the weed ordinance?
Yeah, well, we also talked about not building in the floodplain,
Yes,
right?
although
Just-
that's going to be part of the bigger.
Right.
planning stuff.
I think
Yeah.
there's definitely lots of things that can come out of this, and I think the plan can really, I think, lay some of that out, but that also gives a backbone when the city tries to get some of these grant funds that we were learning about, you know, they're gonna have a plan to draw from and say. Yeah. So does anybody have? I guess I could make of the same kind of motion, but does anybody have any questions about this or concerns about
Just
making this recommendation?
Oh, yeah. I'm just thinking, we mentioned the part about reducing lawn, changing the requirements. That could dovetail with our more prairie, less lawn
Mhm.
thing that we're gonna, and I got an idea for a speaker for that, but so
We did
as long
talk
as
about
that's
that too,
front and
doing that.
center, because it's all.
Well, and you know, this plan and bigger things like changing ordinances are gonna take time, right? But that kind of thing, we can do right away, right? Yeah. That's stuff that the councils can commissions can get together on.
And by the way, I did get Jeannie to talk about some of this stuff.
Oh,
We
good,
talked this week, so.
good. Okay, no, any other questions? You guys think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I like it, I like it. I meant to go to that 29. I meant to go to that 29.
Fine.
Okay, Jerry, do you have any comments or
Okay,
questions?
Jerry,
I like
Do you
it.
have any comments or questions?
No, I like it.
What's happening?
Okay,
one thing that, I mean, this would be a huge undertaking. So in this master plan, it would be beneficial if somehow the city could address the overuse of chemicals
Hmm.
in the lawns and on these parking lots, because our streams and creeks are contaminated with E. coli and too many salts. And so there was talk at one of the seminars that I went to years ago about if the reason why people salt everything to death is because of the liability. Well, if the lawyers could get together and say that if you use this much salt, then that is what a reasonable person would use. But instead, it's kind of like putting more chemical in, whereas if there was a standard to say that so many pounds of salt per so many square feet relieves you of the liability,
You're
of
talking
somebody-
mostly about parking lots.
parking lots and the streets. And I don't know how much we can control private parking lots, but we can most certainly make something in the ordinance about what is a standard of how much salt gets put down versus more is better, because more is not better. And you, most of the time you have to let the chemical do its job. And a lot of the times it's, people are too worried about somebody getting hurt.
I know along those lines, I was interested in that meeting, they said that Webster is like the only municipality to switch to brining. So maybe if that's something too that we could expand somehow.
And they like that, they like.
Yeah, that would be one thing they're very comparing on. Well, I think that's sort of like water quality issue. And Stacy Arnold at this meeting mentioned, you know, there's a lot of the money that comes for eventual stormwater improvements are actually sort of based in the fact that water quality is going to be improved. Because a lot of that money comes out of EPA grants and this, what's it called, this Clean Water Act.
Right. Yep.
Of some year, the Clean Water Act. So they're really, they want clean water, but so much of stormwater is, you know, those things overlap. So I think that that would be a big part of the plan, water quality.
So
It would have to be,
yeah, tweak the grant writing and the plan so that you're doing
Both,
both ways.
right.
Because they do go together.
Well, we could start to draft another letter, as in, you know, Carrie's got a letter for the master plan. And we can draft a second letter that says we'd like to change the lawn ordinance, and we'd like to change the salt practice, salt expectations, as far as city liability and private liabilities involved.
I think what would be good is, as we, you know, if the city can go ahead and write an RFP and they find the money to do the plan, and we are able to stay involved with that process, that we start coming up with these ideas and bringing them to that planning table.
Sure.
Right? Like, I don't even know that, I think if we're, hopefully we can still be involved somewhat, and there will be opportunities to say those things as we go.
Would it be advantageous, I guess this is for Emily, for us to recommend this early, as in like within a month or two, and then follow it up as planning proceeds with supporting recommendations? So if we could show, you know, green space says we should do this, sustainability studies, we should do this, and in however long planning is happening, we follow up and say, you know, remember how we said we should do this, we should still do this.
Yeah.
Like, would that be
I mean,
beneficial?
I don't think it hurts to keep us honest, right?
Mhm.
You know, like, doesn't necessarily even have to be a formal thing, but you should always feel free to check it and be like, hey, what's going on with that thing that we talked about, you know? But I know that Laura was very supportive and Pam was very supportive, and
Yeah, they were great.
so I do think that things will move forward, and I don't know, because Laura mentioned the lawn ordinance too. I don't know if
Yeah.
there's separate lawn and weed or if it's the same thing, but so I don't know if she's planning on doing something with that anyway, or if it would need to be part of this, but yeah, you definitely stay honest. This stuff does take.
Yeah.
Yvonne, are you getting reports from the Reserve Stream team when you do get them? Okay, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How they passed them on. They're checking pretty cool on? Really?
Yeah.
That's part of their chemical test? I mean, I know they're doing vertebrates and flow and everything
Yeah.
else.
Okay, well, do you think I need to take a, like a vote on this? Like, is it, yeah,
Did you think about it or?
think
I
that's
don't-
appropriate.
yeah,
I bet you'll get consensus.
yeah.
Might as well.
Is everyone All in favor of, sorry, I don't know the words. All in favor of just, what do I call that? Putting our name,
Co-signing, approving.
co-signing, approving this type of letter to make the recommendation. Thank you. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jerry?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent.
Okay.
All in favor. Okay. Okay. Then we'll move on to, well, and Corin and I certainly, as this moves on, and if there's a next meeting, we'll keep you guys all in that.
Definitely.
The next item on the agenda is new business. And the item on here is MSD public engagement event. And I know that's still like in the works, but do you want to talk about it, Emily or Yvonne?
Yeah, I mean, we met on the 29th. It's not like we didn't have a date yet, so.
Yeah,
there-
so-
Sounds like there was a date, now there's not a date, so they were
Well-
working on. We kind of talked about it a little bit.
Well, I
last
don't know
time
that
too,
these
right?
guys know about the
So
open
MSD,
house or
MSD's
whatever.
coming to city council tomorrow, but they've also agreed to do kind of like a community meeting outreach thing. And we do want it to be like, we don't want it to just be like all focused on MSD, because we want it to be that's where, like Laura was talking about, like kind of like engaging and not people just coming because of that MSD. So we want like other things there for people to do while they're there. So like a table from green space, table from sustainability, maybe Deer Creek might come and do like a table that has their different opportunity, like litter
Grants.
for grants. Rain gardens and things like that as well. So it's not just like, seen as like an attack on us. They're coming there to be partners with us, and we wanna work through that. So the idea is that we would have, some representation from different commissions and groups, but we don't have a date yet. So I know they wanna do it soon-ish, I think we need to have it happen in the next month, so it's before all the holidays start, so. I would kind of be watching for a date to be announced, and then kind of figure out what y'all want to do. At that meeting.
That kind of made me think of something. So as you're putting all this together and all these pieces together, I think since it is a long-term goal, that you want to engage the next generation, and I think we need a brand. We need to brand it, like, on our sewers, it says to the stream or something like that. So like a Webster Groves brand that brings in aware, like give them who don't pollute, back in the day. We learned that when we were kids and we have never forgotten it. So a brand about because I look at our streams and creeks and you see all the garbage in it, and you go out to Colorado and they're like showcase. And we live in
Ours are
a
like
beautiful area,
garbage.
so if we could figure out a way to brand our streams and creeks. And
I think that's an awesome idea. Webster is in two different watersheds, right?
yeah, Shady Creek and Deer Creek.
But that all is then the river to.
It's all, it's all.
Okay.
All goes to the river to Kirk.
I do feel like when I lived in Southern California and they had on all of the storm drains, drains to ocean, I do feel like people were a little more.
Because they had a cute dolphin.
We have
on
a
it.
Pollinator stream.
Yeah.
Not
Really?
totally, but
Oh, you do drains to stream.
like go to the river or something, there's a
Yeah.
fish on it.
Yeah.
It's to the stream,
Yeah.
they've been slowly replacing the lids with the.
Our streets did get
or
replaced
putting the
maybe like.
little
Our streets like.
tabs on it.
But
Like,
I think-
grass.
It's recent, it's been 10 years, but.
So Yvonne's talking about being even more deliberate. like-
Yeah.
Yes, a Webster brand that any city could say. Clayton, blah, blah, blah. Cares about their streams or whatever that brand is, and we have a lot of very talented minds here that can.
Do we have a
Sure.
beaver mascot?
Yeah.
Did you tell me there are beavers?
Oh, yeah.
We
Oh,
saw-
here he is.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would love
Yeah.
that.
Just draw one.
Biggest damn sewer system.
Plant a tree for a beaver.
Cleanest damn. sewer.
But I think that would get buy-in from all the generations.
I wonder, I mean, it's separate, I know, but because they branded the sustainability plan, I wonder if it's like. was it
I love
Forever
the taste of that.
Webster Groves,
Oh,
so you could, maybe you
Yeah.
could like.
forever
riff off
plain
of that or
streams,
something.
forever something. I see Joe's.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, like, these creeks actually sustain life, like fish and cryads and all that stuff.
Beavers.
Yeah, cause you and I have canoed or kayaked Deer Creek and that was terrible, but
Yeah, but it was a memory, one memory. It was.
Yeah,
erased.
Forget.
But you know that,
Forget.
but you know that, the Department of Natural Resources wanted Deer Creek to be of recreational use by the year
What?
2023. That was their goal.
I fish it.
2020.
I fish there.
And so I don't know what that looks like, but there's other municipal streams and creeks that they use for whitewater rafting. They
Okay.
turn on the waterworks and people come out in the droves and they whitewater raft. So I mean,
Well,
I
look
really
at like
think-
what St. Charles did with Dardane Creek. Have you heard about that? Like the little blue way now, like you just get in kayak and stuff, so.
yeah, we should have that here. There is no
We
reason.
should have a
why.
webcam watch.
Who said it'd be workable by 2023?
That was their- If you read through their master plan, if you read through their master
Really?
Special projects, yes.
I think of what Deer Creek used to be like when
You could.
Creedolite was dumping into Deer Creek. And it was an emerald iridescent green from Creedolite
Yeah.
downstream.
Pristine.
I see kids fishing in it now.
Yeah.
That's by me.
Supposed to, but Linda just had a really great idea.
We need a webcam to just kind of capture maybe our friend Becky Beaver or some other.
Critters.
Like they're the mallards, I love the mallards. They're nice.
There actually are, there's data collection going on.
About the
Oh,
beavers.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, you can go on and my website and look at cute little beavers. making their
That would be awesome. Is there really a beaver somewhere? Where's the beaver?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
see it.
why he was down there.
I don't see it. Oh,
Need evidence of it.
Yeah, Noel went down and protected like 200 trees for me down at Deer Creek.
I've got a section of
And he wiped out my cypress trees down at
That was Marshall.
Marshall Creek.
I've got a section of
Yeah.
tree trunks about this long, about this big around. That's taped like a pencil sharpening on each end and all the bark like on.
There's only one.
But that's a really fun idea.
I mean, that would get the kids
Yeah.
and their fans.
And my neighbor has seen mink on
Mink?
the creek.
Oh, yeah, we saw
We
them
have turkeys,
recently.
and
Yes.
deer that are, you know, along the,
If the deer would stay on the
Yeah.
creek, everybody would be happy.
and the bear was down there.
What have you
right?
seen while you're fishing? Fish.
Fish.
Well,
Are they
I think we
mostly
could do-
Really obscure trash.
Okay,
So, just leave
all
it at
right,
that.
so at some point, we'll make a call out with the date and see if who's available to help man a table. And what we're gonna man, I'm not quite sure yet, just,
If I get reminded, I will be there.
okay.
My COVID body brain.
I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to make some good signage like about greenkeepers. And have something about our upcoming events and about the pollinator patrol and just have a bunch of signs there and be there to talk about what we've done.
And this is for our events that we're.
This is for the
MSD
MSD
plus.
open house, yeah. Okay.
And there's one more new business that's not
What?
on there. It's just a reminder, future trees of distinction is now is the time
Oh,
to
yeah,
nominate
pictures.
and to take pictures. Remember?
We have to maybe put that. Friday section maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to get the word out.
You need to get a one picture of that one tree on Canterbury.
Yeah, that really big one. Yeah.
I would take the fall colors.
For next time, I would like to add for November's, that'll be our last meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Agenda. Really is getting serious about speakers for our 4 months that we did speakers in spring.
Yeah. Yes,
I mean, I have a couple of ideas and getting the newspaper, I mean, if we can get Don Corrigan to do spectacular piece about one of our issues. And get the paper to support us.
yeah, should we? Is that something we could just like do like a round robin email on, people throw out ideas and contacts?
And so we can have
Something to talk about.
next time. It's great.
Yeah,
Is
I
that-
think if you blind copy everybody. I
Would
think
you
that's
mind doing that,
I
Linda?
will come up with some verbiage. Soliciting ideas.
Yes.
Speakers.
Just for people.
Yeah,
It's
it's just blind copy everyone and then just respond only.
Like-
the verbiage and then it doesn't know how to-
And they just have.
Not a means.
On the topic of
Because I.
voting
I've
our
done a lot of
streams.
talk. That's.
I didn't know you were
Keep around the
Trying to
idea
get
before, I'm just gonna throw out there again,
collaborate
like,
of our city works. to-
like stormwater, maybe get like Daniel Hake. About
Because
talk
the
about
street
water
lighting
quality,
is
she does water quality
Yes, sir.
testing. Maybe Big Muddy talk about what they do, because what we do here affects Big Muddy down there.
Yeah.
Maybe Blue Conservation, they do the litter pickup, the trash dam and Deer Creek, like a three
Guardians
guest
of the stream.
speaker, so it's not like
Oh,
on 1 hour talk, we have 3 different speakers in one night, but that promotes
not safe.
the theme that we're talking about. So,
well, why don't you respond to Linda?
yeah.
Okay, so Linda, you're gonna send out an email to Yvonne and blind carbon copy, or send it to me in blind carbon copy, everybody. And then everybody respond to Linda
So we
individually.
want to do, I guess we're gonna have January, February, March, April. It's good. That's when we usually load up on time.
Yes.
So topics and.
Topics,
Speaker suggestions.
speaker suggestions, and if you have a contact that you could make.
Yeah, because
A
we would need
connection.
to, with things. Fully out of
Find a
pandemic now, that
person
needs
from
starting to. I heard another James Falcao talk.
Mm.
And school was just, he was giving it to Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
He had even more.
City.
Yeah.
And what we can. Yeah. So there are some creative kids out there.
Yeah, we could have a contest on next Arbor Day of. Have the topic or the contest be something about trees and streams. How the trees help the streams and get the kids, that would be a good thing. Just go with the brand. They could, yeah, maybe the kids can come up with a brand.
How great would that be?
Yeah. Yeah, Tessa would be a good person.
We're ready.
Tessa would be a good person.
You
All
might
right.
want to,
All right,
can you?
go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, you might want to task the Hickson Sustainability class and see
Oh,
if they want to like
I
take that
can
on
reach,
as a
I can
project.
reach out to him. I can reach out to him.
Just a thought.
okay. Good call. Okay, I think that's it then. So we'll add to the new business for next month, planning for other events. Okay.
So much.
Yvonne,
Okay.
Yes. So much. Yes.
Scott spoke at a work session, right, about the open spaces to council work session. I wonder if we can put that on the agenda for next month, because I talked to him about that too, and just see where that's is and going, and how we
Okay,
can
well-
possibly be a part of it. And
Okay, well. We still have our updates from our council liaisons, so maybe you can
I can talk
shed
on
some
that,
light.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's good to talk about at a future meeting too.
Okay,
So yeah, so Scott came, I guess, 2 weeks ago and talked at work session for council about a couple of things. One is with the reduction in staff and all of that, like there's just not time to upkeep all of the properties that have been upkept. And also apparently the city has for a very long time done maintenance and mowing on property that we really weren't responsible for. It sounds like if you go back and kind of read it, like property owner is technically responsible for their property. And then like up to the curb. So, you know, there are places where the city's been mowing like a strip. Because the property line ended, but technically the property owner. Is responsible for taking to the curb. Of course, we haven't done that for a long time, and so there's gonna be some resident like, upset, I would say is probably a good word for that, or like confusion about like why it hasn't been that way, and now we're asking you to like mow areas we haven't, so let's work through that. So that's one thing, is kind of like making sure that people know like this is what you're responsible for, but also there are places that really are the city's responsibilities, but how can we do those in a way that takes less staff time and is also maybe like more sustainable and other things too. So some of the, he has like a great presentation, if you go back and look at the video or the documents he has, he did a great, he always does great prep, but so there are some of the property is like along the Shady Creek, what's that called, like nature preserve. And so, and then there's some other places where it's like Lorraine Davis, and so maybe we just like slightly extend the riparian zone and just don't mow that section. And when you're talking about the split rail fence at Lorraine Davis, I was thinking maybe Shady Creek around that sign, we do something so that the sign doesn't get weeded over. But just kind of, so then you wouldn't, in some places, we're just mowing like 2 or 3 feet from the curb to a clean line. And so can we just like make that not so time consuming? And then there are places like at the corner of my street, like Oak and Rock Hill, there's a big hill that's city owned. And so what do we do with that? Do we do sedge, or they said like maybe rocket or things like that? And then there's some of the islands that are in different neighborhoods, that sometimes the neighborhoods keep those up, sometimes the city keeps those up. And so there was a proposal that maybe we, like, instead of having that grass or all plantings, maybe we do primarily mulch with like some plantings, or mulch with a tree or something that still looks nice, but doesn't take as much maintenance. And so there had been talk about like, maybe we just need to do more native plantings and things like that, which I love. And I started to say like, but I know Parks doesn't have the staff to maintain that. He's like, yeah, I already talked to Green Space, and he talked to somebody, and they said that they're okay maintaining some of that. So I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay.
That was me.
Wanted to give, but I'm sure that'll, like, the details will all get worked out. But I know that Scott is kind of looped into the commission too, of course. So but that's kind of update. So it's like what that would look like and going forward. I mean, lots more steps to come on that, and I'm sure that the commission will be involved with that. Obviously, Parks and Public Works were and
Scott, who is that?
Davis.
Scott Davis.
Mhm, yeah. Director of Parks.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other update for us? Emily?
I don't think so. I mean, that we talked before about the charter review advisory board that's been selected and seated, so that is kind of moved on to the next stage. Else is waiting up.
Okay. Yvonne,
Is that enough?
is that enough? All right, I think we will adjourn this meeting,
I just had a comment about that, because I talked to Scott about just some of the areas, some of the circles, for instance, at the bottom of North Forest in front of Deer Creek, and if the Green Space Advisory Commission in 2023 wanted to look at some of those, and not many, but some that are already planted with natives and maybe have gone a little weedy. And I just think there's donations, and if we can get this core of volunteers, then maybe Green Space Commission can, pick a few of them to put into projects like we're doing at Ruhi and other places. And then with continued maintenance, all we would need from the city is, minimal help, like with a truck, maybe dumping some compost and mulch. So that's just planting a seed of some things we can expand into in 2023.
thanks, Jay. All right. We shall adjourn, and our next meeting is November 7th. don't know, I have 5:15 right tonight.
Yeah.
Five.
Should be 5.
Day before the election.
Yeah.
How do you treat people identify this? It's got small acorns under it.
A shingle oak,
They got a little acorn.
I don't know, but everything about that leaf
Yeah.
looks
Okay,
like a
that's
shingle
fine. I
oak.
thought it was an oak, but I just. There's so many oaks that